So I'm here in Chandler, Arizona. I'm literally going to an AI conference, and I get back to the hotel for a brief break, and I pull up a video, and what pops up on YouTube is this video from Bloomberg talking about AI and the future of filmmaking. They show off a couple different features of their products. One is called TrueSync, the other is called Deep Editing. TrueSync is for being able to take and basically dub a movie into other languages, but also adapt the performance to match the language, right? So currently, right now, if you're filming a feature film, you are going to record, audio on different tracks so that when you sell it internationally, they can take that audio track, they pull out, say, English, they bring in the new synced audio track, they dub in the audio or whatever they have to do, and that's what you can do in international markets. What this makes possible is not only can they take out that language track, but then they can, using generative AI, they can match the face and the performance, and they can remap to the new words that a voice actor produces. They showed it going from Swedish to English, but obviously the opposite can also be true. We can take a Chinese film, for example, and suddenly it can be dubbed into English with, the lips matching the English language. And it's an incredible use of generative AI. The second demo they did, it was called Deep Editing. And Deep Editing is showing the ability to kind of change, say, dialogue or kind of fix performance for a line. So I was watching Light and Magic this summer, and it was showing some of the early days of non-linear editing, digital editing, like George Lucas is editing Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And he would take performance from one take and he would intercut it with another. This is kind of like that. And so in the demo, they show the two actresses talking to each other, and they take a performance from an entirely different scene, and they take that performance and that line and they dump it in. So it's one way. So instead of, you could take a scene that got cut out, and instead of redubbing or having the audio played while you see the other person's reaction, which is kind of the cheap way to do it, to avoid going out and doing reshoots, which they talked about was really expensive, and that's true. They can take this performance, and so what does it do? The AI basically creates a 3D rendering of the face, and you play it on the reaction take, and now you've taken the line from this other take, this completely different scene, completely different costume, and they're able to place it on to this other situation, which again is really incredible. Now, we saw examples of George Lucas doing something kind of similar, even 20 years ago, but this is doing that scale at high resolution with visual fidelity. Now, obviously, using AI to mess with an actor and actress's performance is at the core of the SAG-AFTRA strike right now. And that's something you don't really want to be messing with. They talked a lot about how do you do this responsibly. And this is something that they're talking about at my AI conference as well, is not only are we bringing in these different technologies, but we have to be responsible about it. And so that it seems like different industries are getting it. We have to have trust, and we have to have confidence in our technology as well. So then they bring up the third part of the demo. And the third part of the demo is, okay, we can use this deep editing feature, but if I can just use this dialogue replacement. I can change the line after the fact, which is something definitely the writers were striking about, is like writing continues through post, and this is definitely writing continuing into post. But what's built into the system is if you're going to change the actor, the actress's dialogue, is that, well, you got to compensate them for it. So they showed two examples. They changed two lines, in a single take, both adapted and changed through generative AI, so they're able to change the performance and change the dialogue. And in one case, it created new audio, and in the other one, they just didn't like it. So what it did is it triggers a notification to go out to the actress in this example, who was sitting in the audience for the demo, to approve these new takes, because it's their likeness, and it also indicates that they'll be paid for their performance being updated and changed. And so one example, she's able to watch the AI generated performance and she okayed it, and the other one, they didn't like it so much. And so from her phone, she was able to record a new recording. And so it took her audio and it took her face, and then it remapped. It created a 3D model of her face, placed it on her face in the video, and then it took the audio from the one, it synced it all back together, and so she was able to fix that. And so without having to go in, without having to build new sets, without having to bring in a whole crew, she got compensated for her work for that day, and they were able to get a take. So instead of spending $500,000 or more for entire new day of shoot to bring in cast and crew, she would be compensated, I assume, at whatever SAG rate is approved for her daily rate or whatever. So this is really interesting, and so there's this interview part afterwards, and they're like, doesn't this, what about the crew that didn't get hired? Isn't this cutting down expenses, and people are going to have lost wages? And then the director, he's like, I don't think so, because this is going to make it easier to approve more projects and to have more time on set for a different project, because it's a little easier to greenlight a project because it's easier to fix some expensive things. Instead of having to schedule complete reshoots, you get it into the editor. In this case, we're using Avid, and you cut it together. You need to make a tweak. You send it out to the actress with their phone. They can, submit a new performance into the director. The director can accept it. Everyone gets paid for their work, and you move on. So, for example, let's say famously, I know this isn't the same thing, but famously, Henry Cavill needed to come in for reshoots for Justice League, but he had already started filming Mission Impossible, and he had a big mustache, and Mission Impossible did not approve for him to shave the mustache, and so they had to use computer to CGI to take out the mustache. But what this could have done is he can re-record his performance, and they just take the face and model that, and they don't ever have to take out the mustache because it was, it's not part of it. Anyway, this is wild stuff. Hopefully SAG-AFTRA can get a good contract soon, and a system that is trying to take our actors and actresses seriously and compensate them for their work can go through, that we can be responsible about the use of AI. It can make it easier to greenlight projects, and I have no idea how much the software costs or what people are paying for it, but the market is definitely high budget movies. The market is probably not small indies, but if they can get it affordable, then maybe a small indie can use this too, and that's when it gets really interesting for me. Anyway, that's it. Just wanted to record this real fast in response to this incredible technology that I have another day of AI that I'm going to tomorrow for day 3 of this conference. It's definitely on my mind, and I just need to take a minute to record this. So I hope that this was helpful to you. Check this out. You can go to flawless.ai.com. Check out links in the description so you can watch the entire demo and interview from Bloomberg. And that's it. My name is Jacob. This is Part-Time Film School. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.